championships.
Amazing.
I mean, incredible. Here with her new book, Life is Short, Don't Wait to Dance. Please welcome Valorie Kondos Field.
Yay, Valorie.
Welcome, Valorie. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
Now, you are among the winningest women's gymnastic coaches ever. And this is the amazing thing. You've never done a handspring. You say not even a somersault. In fact, you had dreams of becoming a ballerina. So how did this all come about? How did you end up as head coach of the most elite gymnastics team in the world?
Providence. I had nothing to do with it, actually. I was dancing with the Washington, D.C. Ballet. I was 22 years old, and I heard UCLA needed a dance coach for the gymnastics team. And I love gymnastics.
That photo.
And
Valorie.
oh, goodness gracious. And and my dream was to go to UCLA. And so I called up the head coach and I gave him my credentials, and they said, we will give you a full scholarship to go to come to school to be our dance coach. And so I graduated, and a few years after that, I got a call to come into the athletic director's office, and she says, we're making a change with the head coach, and we would like for you to be our new head coach.
Wow.
And I looked at her literally like nuts, and I go, you understand I know nothing about gymnastics.
Well,
nothing.
Well,
but I mean, you were a
nothing.
ballerina. You were a trained ballerina.
Okay, but I
So
don't
it's
know.
the same sort of. It's very strict.
There's flipping and twisting.
So, but I mean,
I'm trying.
and then how did you? I mean, how did you?
So
take it from there?
this is the book in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did what I thought I should do, and I tried to mimic other coaches.
Okay.
Yes, and very early on, you mimicked very aggressive coaches that we have all seen. If you ever watched
Pat
the Olympics,
Summitt,
yes,
Bobby Knight, Marta Caroli,
yeah,
them,
and it didn't work.
Well, isn't that your paradigm of a coach?
That's what I would think as well for a gymnastics coach.
Sure.
That's all we've seen.
Sure, that's all we hear about.
Right. And we were horrible. And I was horrible. And I was ready. I was literally on my way to resign. And I was walking through the student store, and I picked up one of Coach Wooden's books.
Oh,
and it opened up to his definition of success, which is success is peace of mind in knowing you've done your best.
Oh,
Yeah.
what an amazing
And right
man
then
he
and
was.
there-
That
Yeah.
was the biggest aha moment of my life.
And so you changed your stuff from
I
being
changed
aggressive
my
to being
stuff.
nurturing.
And like what you said, I brought 17 years of classical ballet training. I got something to
You
offer.
know.
And once I started being true to myself, we started winning. But the most important thing I remember was I had a student athlete say, Miss Val, you have finally become a leader worth following. Because you're authentic.
That
Now
is
let me
so
ask you:
beautiful.
Did you model yourself after those coaches that were so stringent and so strict
Yes.
because you felt an insecurity because you had not been
Yes.
in dance? I mean, in
Yes,
gymnastics.
'cause I
That
knew
makes
nothing.
sense. Yeah, that makes
I
sense.
knew nothing.
So you were hiding
course.
behind what you thought you were supposed to do.
Well, I figured I grew up on stage. I can act.
Right.
Let's just act.
And let's talk more about your relationship
my
with the
goodness.
legendary coach John Wooden, for those that don't know. Just an incredible man. But how did that relationship come to be? Friendship, really.
Well, my husband was our defensive coordinator for football.
Okay.
And he and I got married in 1998. And I had never met Coach Wooden. And Coach was 83 at the time. No, he wasn't. He was 88 at the time.
Oh my goodness.
And I nagged my husband to call Coach Wooden to come over for dinner. And after 3 weeks straight of me nagging, he invited Coach Wooden over for dinner. And after that, it was symbiotic. We just connected. Coach's wife, Nellie, was a Spitfire.
you are there.
Coach's daughter is a Spitfire. And I can be a little Spitfire E, so there was a connection.
So there was a connection right there. And how did that influence your coaching style for the team? Sure.
Tremendously, because I got to be around him a lot. I took him to football games. I took him to basketball games. He came to gymnastics meets. I went and picked him up coming over for dinner. So I was around him. I took him to speaking engagements. And whether he was speaking to 10,000 people or 10 people, he was always the same.
Right.
He was authentic. And as he told his players, he never got too high, he never got too low. Just be yourself.
Yeah.
What an amazing role model and mentor.
Yeah, obviously
You're not
helped you out a
kidding.
lot as
I
well.
know.
What an amazing man. Here you were at the pinnacle of your career. You had literally received every single accolade a gymnastics coach could receive. You were flying high, and then wham, out of nowhere, you were thrown a curveball and you were diagnosed with breast cancer. How did being a coach and learning all these things from John and from being on the job help you navigate through probably the most difficult time in your life?
Well, I immediately went into battle mode. Okay, this thing is not going to get me. But the truth is, when I was diagnosed, I heard, when I hung up the phone, from my doctor, I heard very, very clearly, be anxious for nothing and grateful for all things. And I went home and I told my husband the not so great news about the breast cancer, but I told him about this, and he said, that's in the Bible. I'd never read the Bible. This is a commandment.
Wow.
Be anxious for nothing and grateful for all things.
Beautiful.
And it changed every moment in my life since then, for the better.
Good for you.
Oh my
That's amazing. And I think we can all, I mean, obviously we all learn from that all the time, for sure, without a doubt.
So I went through it just like, okay, let's go get this thing. So I was in a year of chemotherapy, and I called it my chemo spa because I got to go get chemotherapy. Because I live at a time that has the chemotherapy.
See, what you
mental
just said
shift,
there,
learning.
I get
let-
I get
yeah,
to, not I
yeah,
have to.
yeah.
It just changes everything in your
Everything.
brain.
That one word.
And that mental, but what you did with all of your kids that you were coaching, it's a mental game as
It
much
is a
as it's
mental
a
game.
physical game.
Well, and that's part of like in the book is like, okay, now let's see what I made it because I've been preaching all this stuff for 25 years. Now let's see if I can walk the walk. And it was a challenge, definitely.
Yeah.
But what a blessing to go through it with our student athletes.
Right.
It's like I only missed one day in the whole
That's
year.
astonishing. That's
And they got to go through it all to see that when you're diagnosed with something like cancer, it's not a death sentence.
No.
Okay, have hope
Yeah.
and faith.
And the support system that they gave you too.
beautiful for you to share it, obviously, with your girls, but also in this book, right? This is an incredible story that you're telling out there. Now, we've already talked a little bit about the fact that you've never done a somersault or I mean, whatever other
Keep bringing
gymnastics.
that up.
Well, I want to show you something. We discovered a video of you doing the first time you ever did a handstand.
Oh, God.
And we want to show it to you. Let's check it out. There it is.
What?
There's your first handstand.
She's holding me a lot.
not. I don't believe
But look at
you.
my toe point. It's
Yeah, which is
beautiful.
amazing.
It is. The toe
is
point
on
is
point.
fantastic.
That's the one and only I've ever
at you.
done.
That
And
is
watch,
impressive.
watch, I come out of it and
You see? Don't wait to
And by the
dance,
way,
right?
Don't wait to dance.
Don't
Your
wait to
dismount
dance.
was nice.
beautiful.
Thank you.
So you have announced that you were going to retire
I
after
am. It's a big
next
deal.
season.
That is a big deal.
Yes.
What are you going to do?
A lot. I have so much to do.
A lot.
How much time do we have?
No, seriously. I've got an urban nutcracker going. They
urban
made
nutcracker,
a
that's
movie of
cool.
one of my athletes, Ariana Berlin, that just got picked up on Netflix for a second run. It's called Full Out. They're going to be making Full Out 2. I'm hoping to, I've just been nagging our chancellor. We have to have a course on John Wooden at UCLA.
100. I don't know why they don't.
Seriously. So I got a bunch of that stuff
That's
going on.
beautiful.
Let's
Look
be
at you.
honest.
And life
It
is
doesn't
short,
sound
don't
like
we know
retirement
it?
to me.
You're unretiring.
I mean,
Unretire
that
yourself,
sounds like
Alex.
an unretire. Listen, you're so inspiring. Congratulations
Thank you
on
so
all
much.
that's happened and all that's to come for you.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure having you here. Yeah,
And Patty stole my
Patty
big
stole my
sister.
Life is short. Don't wait to dance. It's available at all major booksellers, and you can connect with Miss Val on her social media pages as well.
And don't wait to do handstands or handsprings or any of that either.
No.
Maybe the handspring, but the handstand you could probably do.
Yeah.
I bet I know who could do that, Maria.
Hey, I used to be able to, but I am so inspired by listening to you. That was absolutely wonderful. And I get to show you how to take a simple cookie tin and turn it into a spectacular Christmas cake decoration. When we come back.